Hi guys, my name's Craig. Welcome to Small Farmer Life. The British weather will not give up. It's been raining for 3 days. It was snowing before that. So I thought I'd come in and do a video about the change of use of land. Now, it could be agricultural land you want to change the use of. It could be permanent pasture land you want to change the use of. Or you might have some land at the back of your house that you're thinking you want to extend your garden, and it could be agricultural land and you might want to change the use of that. So there might be some information in here for a lot of you guys, so you might want to stick around and watch the full video. So anyway, first of all, I want to talk about when I first purchased my piece of agricultural land. Well, when I first purchased it, it was agricultural land, and the girlfriend I was with had horses at the time. So we put in for planning permission for some stables. Now, when we put in for planning permission for the stables, well, we had to put in for change of use for all the land that was attached to the actual area we wanted to put the stables on. So that would be horticultural also. Now, you don't always need to change the use of agricultural land if you're just grazing horses on that land. But if you bring feed in for the horses on the agricultural land, or bales of hay, or you might want to exercise your horses on agricultural land, or you, let's say, put a field shelter up on the agricultural land, you will need planning permission and a change of use put in for that agricultural land to be turned into horticultural land. If you don't, well, you can be served an enforcement notice and be told to put in for the change of use from agriculture to horticulture. And I've seen that happen a lot, and it might seem stupid that just bringing a bucket of feed in for your horse makes you convert an agricultural field into an horticultural field, but that's the way the planners do it, and who am I to tell them they can't do it? Anyway, the other things you might want to change the use of land for could be, let's say, you've bought some permanent pasture land. Now, before you even think about buying permanent pasture land, and permanent pasture land is any land that hasn't been cultivated for 15 years or more. And it could be anything from a grass field to a meadow field, or even a swamp or a fen, or anything like that. It might have a little bog on there, it could have a little pond on there with some newts in, and it could be 4, 5, 10 acres in size even. And you normally see these at the edge of villages. And you might look at that piece of land and think, oh, that'd be a lovely place to start a small holding or a small farm. Well, if you just go onto that piece of permanent pasture land and start converting it into a farm, well, you can be in serious trouble. You can get a £5,000 fine, and they can tell you to convert it right back to what it was before you touched it. So buying permanent pasture land, and I get asked this a lot, what can I do with it? Always seek advice from the local planning department, because you don't want to get a £5,000 fine for starters, and you don't want to be stuck with just a piece of land that you can't do nothing with. And you also seem to get a lot of pushback from locals who walk the dog on that land, and if there's any newts or anything in the ponds, well, you'll get lots of pushback. So watch it when you're buying permanent pasture land. Now, another reason why you might want to change the use of some land, you might want to start growing some plants for sale and some shrubs and that sort of thing. And the council want to know lots of information about what you're going to be doing, growing the plants, and what you're going to be doing with the pesticides, what type of vehicles are going to be coming in and out, what weight of the vehicles, is the road on an A road, the entrance. So if it's on an A road and it's got like a blind spot, well, you might have a lot of traffic coming in, and they'll be saying, it's just an accident waiting to happen. So you might want to choose your spot wisely if you're thinking about growing flowers and shrubs and things like that for sale. Now, other reasons you might want to change the use of land. You might have purchased a house and it could have a small back garden, but it might have a hedgerow at the back of the garden and then a gate that leads onto an acre of land. And you think, well, if I purchase the house, I'll make the acre of land into a bigger garden, so I've got a huge garden. Well, you can't just do that. You need planning permission to do that, and I've very rarely seen that happen. And I've worked on a few properties where they've had a large parcel of land at the back of the house, which is at the back of the garden. And if you wanted to just say, let's say, plant an orchard, that's fine. If you wanted to plant vegetables, that's fine. If you wanted to grow some, let's say, chickens on there, or raise some chickens, should I say, and hatch some chickens, that's fine, because that's still agricultural. But if you were thinking about putting paths in there and flower beds and all that sort of thing, well, you'll need planning permission to do it. And I've very rarely, if ever, seen it passed. I have seen people do it and they've never been caught, and it's went over the 10-year 1-day rule, and that's given them the right to actually keep it as a garden. But I've never seen anyone granted planning permission to convert agricultural land of an acre or above in size into a garden. Maybe if it's just an eighth of an acre, you might get planning permission to encompass that in the curtilage of your garden, but anything bigger than that, I've never seen it happen. Now, there's other reasons you might need to change the use of the land. So let's say you buy some agricultural land and it's got a rundown barn on it or some stables, and you were thinking, well, I can convert the barn into a residential building or the stables into a residential building. Well, you'll need to change the use of the land to residential use. Now, that doesn't mean to say that if it's 4 acres in size, the land, that if you change the use of the barn into residential and you do get planning permission to do that, that the full 4 acres will become a garden. They'll tell you to put a size of around about an eighth of an acre as a garden, and that'll be the curtilage of your house. And then after that, all the rest of the land will stay agricultural. So you need to be wary about what you want to change your land to. Even if you're thinking about changing agricultural land to putting some glamping pods on for tourism, because councils do support tourism in the local towns because they're trying to attract people to the local town. But if you're trying to change the use of your land, you need to pick the land wisely if you're going to be putting glamping pods on it or storing caravans. Things like that all need to be change of use, because if you don't put in for a change of use, then they will send out the enforcement officer and they will tell you to put in for the planning application. And because you haven't put it in first and you've just went ahead with it, then they'll stop you altogether when it comes to trying to actually get the planning permission. So guys, when it comes to change of use, make sure you know what you can do with the land, and if you're not sure on what you can do with the land, or if it's the best place to do what you want to do with the land, then get in contact with the local planning officer for that area and ask them to come and visit the site and get a bit of information from them, and they'll appreciate that a lot, and they'll work with you to see what you can do and what you can't do. So guys, if you're thinking about changing the use of your land, always think about, can you do it, can you not do it? And if you're in two minds of whether you can do it, then get the planning officer out. So guys, my name's Craig. You've been watching The Small Farmer Life. If you like the video, hit the like button. You want to subscribe? Subscribe. It's your choice. You want to be notified of more upcoming farm videos? Then hit the bell button. Till next time, take care of yourself, and most of all, take care of the family. Bye for now. See ya.